Link in focus. Click the links for the Odysee, Gap, Discord, or support channel. This is a bit complicated. This is the kid who allegedly struggle snuggled two girls in the girls' room using the cover of being BLT and cross-dressing, this kind of stuff. And his mom did an interview. She came out and she turns out to, I mean, of course she's a single mom. Of course she's a single mom with tattoos who looks like a complete idiot. That's not the story. There's always going to be mentally ill people who just cannot function in a regular school. They need to go to some kind of continuation school, which is, you know, closer akin to a jail, but it is what it is. You can't have kids having sex in the bathroom. That's got to be a hard no on that. And you can't have boys in the women's room. That's pretty logical for anyone who's not a fucking retard. So sick on so many levels. Daily Wire comes down on the superintendent, Scott Ziegler, who's been lying about sexual assaults. Well, Scott Ziegler is your standard globalist. They always seek positions, nexus points, where they can exert leverage. That's why so many of these filthy parasites go to school boards, city councils. They go to positions of power. It's like, I'm telling our people too, it's like, Salty Cracker says the same thing. It's like, you gotta take those school board seats and those city councils. It's like, you know, you don't, like, people just want this society to run itself, and it really doesn't. You have to get involved because things like, I'm talking about like pivot points, like keynotes and infrastructure, a school, if you want to brainwash a kid, there's no better place than a school. That's why these filthy, filthy, parasitical globalists take those positions. So Loudon County School Board, Ziegler's already covered himself in buckets of glory. Okay, so what happened for the Struggle Snuggle case? The kid is, who they're adamant is not gender fluid. He's cross-dressed. So it's like, it's a reasonable conclusion to say he's not gender fluid. Then why are you using the girls' room? And here's the thing: it's like you're trying to establish rules and order out of this stuff that's nonsense. It's like, oh, I identify as a girl one day, but not the next day. And what my external appearance is, it doesn't matter. It's like, well, you're a biological boy. I mean, come on. So if you're cross-dressing like a chick one day, but inside you actually feel like a boy, you're just being a transvestite, then you're not allowed to use the girls' room. But if you dress like a dude the next day, but you identify as a chick, you can use the girls' room. That's nonsense. This is all nonsense. Why are we letting children run the madhouse? Well, we're not letting children run the madhouse because adults usually speak up and go, oh yeah, this is horseshit. You're letting people like Ziegler, and who was the other lady who was on the school board? I don't know, it was like Cohen or something. These people are nuts. They're globalists. They're crazy. And they are creating policies that hurt your children, as the case here. He anally sodomized this girl in the bathroom, and the mom said she should have fought him off. She's like 14 or 15. She's strong enough to fight the guy off. It's like, it's insane. All this is nuts. Boys can't use it with their women. Oh no, they're trans. There's no such thing. It's just a fad that kids are going to. You really think it's organic that 40% of kids are BLT these days? I don't think so. So Superintendent Ziegler, filthy parasitical globalist, said there had been 0 bathroom assaults. He then apologized for a misleading statement by saying he thought the question referred only to transgender and gender fluid students. But if this isn't gender fluid, then what the fuck is? Okay, now here's where it gets, obviously he's lying, he got caught in a lie, and like, he got caught in a lie. I don't think he ever thought, like, people at these school boards, they never think the spotlight's going to be shined on them, and we need to be doing a whole lot more spotlight shining, which, hey, I'm doing what I can. So support channel on Odysee. You can donate like a nickel on Odysee. That's the amazing thing about Odysee, is like micro transmission of micro-funded accounts, which actually adds up to like over $100 in the Odysee account so far, which is kind of sweet. So, these people never think that their cover-ups are going to get uncovered. So Ziegler apologized, saying he thought involved transgender, gender-fluid students, which turns out that the student, okay, so he says, asked a question about discipline incidents, and I wrongly interpreted incidents involving trans students. I regret. So he's saying that because the mom came out later and said, like, oh, he's not actually trans, he just is a cross-dresser or something like that. That's his excuse. It's nonsense. It's horseshit. And it's like, should he be held criminally liable? Hey, in my world, yeah. I think after legal due process, some public canings would be in order. But the picture raises questions about whether Ziegler's apology for one misleading statement was in itself dishonest. Shows a person who was the epitome, I used to pronounce that epitome, of it. Anyway, of the type of person's parents concerned about mixing of genders in bathrooms would consider gender fluid. In other words, even if his explanation was true, he seemingly still should have included the incident of the sodomy in the bathroom. Oh, boys and girls are going to be in bathrooms in private stalls. So what's going to prevent them from having sex? Oh, don't ask that question because you're a racist. Okay, let's accept that and move on to what's going to prevent them from like having sex and getting pregnant and in the bathroom. Oh, did you not hear me call you a racist? Yes. Let's just move on beyond that and get to the heart of it. Oh, we can't do that. Listen, at some point, all these parents, you got to call these globalists out for what they are. Like, hey, I can't help but notice that you're a filthy, parasitical globalist whose policies result in children being harmed. Oh, listen, if enough parents point out the globalists in the room, eventually you're going to get these people off school boards and that kind of stuff. So he didn't say, oh, there was that one kid that was wearing all girls' clothes 20 days ago, but his mom says he identifies as a male. He smugly lectured parents, citing Time magazine to say that they were concerned about it doesn't exist. And this deals with Garland, whose real name was Garfinkel. His parents left Russia and changed his name, who's also a filthy parasitical globalist, who is getting the Department of Justice and the FBI to go after parents who are concerned about CRT, which is anti-whiteism from these filthy parasitical Garfinkel, Ziegler globalists, and boys raping and sodomizing girls in the women's room. So because of that, Garfinkel gets the Department of Justice and the FBI involved. In fact, the father of the girl who is sodomized by this, the kid is just mentally ill. He was arrested when he was protesting. And the media had a good laugh at this guy, this plumber Smith, who was arrested. Yeah, let's laugh at him. He was trying to tell the school board that his daughter had been raped in the bathroom. And Ziegler, the filthy, fat fucking parasite, covered it up. So to deal with the discrepancy, seems to be implying didn't know he was arrested. The thing is, the police department says, yeah, they notified the kid of the arrest. When Ziegler found out about the event, he notified the rest of the school board, and then he moved the kid to a different school, and then he just continued to lie, because he's a filthy fucking parasite whose policies result. Listen, at some point, you're going to have to wash off this political correctness and point these people out and say, these people hurt kids. I'm not saying directly they hurt kids like a Kevin Spacey situation. I'm saying that they enact policies that create high-risk situations. And, it's easy to say, oh, just homeschool your kids. Not everyone can do that. And the thing is, they pay property taxes to pay for the schools. Listen, white people think society runs itself. Like, they create something and then they step away from it and they think, oh, it's going to be fine. No, you got to get on the school boards. You have to be a presence. Every other group advocates for themselves. All you white people need to wake up and start advocating for yourself like every other group in America does. Otherwise, people have interests adverse to yours. It's just game theory. If they advocate for their side and you don't, you're going to get walked all over. You're going to get girls getting sodomized in the women's room. The thing is, even if it's consensual sex, do you really want high school kids having sex in the bathroom with some kid who's absolutely mentally ill? Coming from a single mom, it's like, okay, so you get this girl pregnant. Well, hard to do with sodomy, but you get what I'm saying. You don't want this kind of degeneracy, this filth happening in schools. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next episode.